Hello, and welcome to Content Creation for SEO with Steve Burnside. A little bit about our center. We are the Cal Poly CIE Small Business Development Center. We are part of a national program that has over 1,000 locations across the United States. The services that we provide include no-cost consulting for small businesses and entrepreneurs in areas like business planning, marketing, sourcing funding, etc. And we are funded by the SBA and serve San Luis Obispo County. If you are not already a client, you can feel free to contact us to sign up for no cost, no obligation consultation. And a quick thank you to our sponsors. As mentioned previously, we are sponsored by the SBA as well as the California GoBiz. Now I'm going to play a quick video from one of our other sponsors, Maynard Cooper Gale.
Hi everyone, my name is Jamal Al-Haj and I'm a partner with Maynard Cooper & Gale in the firm's San Francisco office. Maynard Cooper is a full-service law firm of national reach with over 300 lawyers across 11 offices coast to coast. Our San Francisco practice focuses on advising emerging growth companies and venture capital firms, including with respect to equity management, financings, employment, and intellectual property matters. We are extremely proud to be a Founders Circle sponsor amongst an extraordinary circle of other dedicated philanthropists who recognize the immense value that Cal Poly's Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship bring to the SLO community. We hope that each of you enjoys this upcoming training and workshop and are able to incorporate the knowledge and know-how that will be presented shortly to further help grow, develop, and accelerate your businesses.
Thank you to Maynard Cooper & Gale. And now, without further ado, please enjoy the upcoming workshop on SEO with Steve Burnside.
This is called a SERP, S-E-R-P, Search Engine Results Page, okay? This is all you care about, right? And you generally only care about two different entities, but as when it comes to search, Google's like, exponentially more search happens on Google than those two combined. So if you can get here, so I just want to talk about a couple things here about why this is important. So when you look at the search engine results page, now these are all things I have on the side here. We can talk about these in a little bit. But when you see a search engine results page, the first thing you're always going to see is ads, right? Google needs to make the money, right? So not only do we have shopping ads, we have just regular text ads right down here. And understanding the difference between the non-ads is a really, really big deal. Come back to me. Internet does feel a little dicey. Are you feeling that still?
Yeah, I'm having some issues with it.
We can't have the internet slowing us down. We only have an hour and 15 minutes to get you like 4 days worth of information. So, okay. So we finally scroll down here to where we actually get the first, what they call organic result, right? So all of those ads in your world equal the sprint. You want to show up for something today, you can go pay anything. Right? You set up a website this morning that sells guitar strings. You can go onto Google, you can go to ads.google.com, set up an ad, and you can be showing up in this first section up here this afternoon. You can be showing up and through Google Ads, it's no longer called AdWords, it's called Google Ads. You can show up on display advertising, you can show up on YouTube, you can show up here. You can show up wherever you want it this afternoon. Okay? SEO is a marathon. It's a commitment. You really want, that's what I'm going to say, the words I write too, I don't expect you to read them, because my handwriting is very bad. But SEO is the marathon. It's the thing you have to be committed to and you have to be consistent with. One of the things Google looks at is how consistent you are with what you're posting. So let me give you an example. If I come up to you and I say, hey, I'm looking for a dentist, okay? You're going to go through your experience with dentists, And if you like me, you're gonna give me the one that like, oh yeah, I did my cleaning, nothing really hurt, they did my root canal, it was no problem, they didn't overcharge me, blah, blah, blah. Go to this dentist, right? If you hate me, you might not give me that person. But if you like me, and then if you give me a good referral for a dentist, I might come back and say, hey, who do you use for who's your esthetician? You know, right? You gave me a good referral. Well, that's what Google is trying to essentially do, right? They're essentially, you're talking about referrals for businesses. Google is essentially one big referrer. That's all they do. They're like the BNI of the internet, or like whatever business networking organization you like. All they're trying to do is get it to where somebody searches for something and they give that person in the search engine result page the most relevant place to go, so that next time they need to search something, what happens? They come back to Google. It's why people stopped going to Yahoo and started coming to Google, because Google figured out sooner than Yahoo how to give more relevant results. So when we start talking about the content we're going to make and how we want to win in SEO, we want to be delivering content that when people are searching for a specific term, what we're going to call a search phrase, that Google starts seeing our page as a viable option, as a good referral partner, right? The top 10 results show on the first, every page has 10 organic results, I guess I should say, right? So whatever you're looking to do, you want to try to show up in the top 10. Now, esthetician, I know you talk about products. If you're a local company, there's also a thing called let me see if I can get enough internet to get down here. Maybe. Down here, which is normally up here. Let me see if I refresh. Is it moving on your screen? Okay. Imagine a map here, okay? This is called the Google 3-pack. This, for local businesses, is the most valuable place you can be, okay? So this is like a free bonus, because this has nothing to do about content. If you are a local business, so see, we type cars, Grand Central Music down there off Broad Street, National Resophonic, Music Motive, right? These are big at listings, they have reviews, they get a picture. This is all free. Right? Now they're testing paying for this. There are certain verticals and certain areas where you can pay to get in here. But still, at the end of the day, if you're a local business, region, like anything, I mean, if you're a salon, if you're a real estate agent, if you're whatever is local, if you have friends that are local, this is lawyer, if you're a lawyer, doctor, blah, 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 blah. This is the money. A lot of this is driven through Google My Business. So if you search Google My Business, once again, we're into the free bonus content, we're not into the real content yet. In Google My Business, put a little calendar reminder on your calendar to go in there every 6 months and give it whatever it asks for. So every once in a while, they'll come up and they'll say, hey, now we want pictures of the outside of your building. Now we want pictures that they keep updating the different types of pictures and the different content. So I tell people, every 6 months, go in there. If they're not asking for something new, just put something new in there and take a new picture inside the building, take a new picture outside the building, take a new picture of your dog. I don't care. Like, put it up there, because here's the idea, right? If you have a CPA and you knew they never did any continuing education, how much do you trust them? I got my CPA license in 1982. I haven't done a class since. You're thinking there's probably a couple write-offs that have shown up since 82 that I'm missing out on, right? Speaking of yours, if I didn't get the vehicle tax credit for the new Tesla I'm buying, I'd be a little bummed, And the same concept applies in Google, right? If you're not updating things, Google only thinks you're as good as the last time you updated something, right? So make sure when you go into Google My Business, there's like a category selection. Make sure you're in the right category. See if they got in a new category that maybe fits you better. Put new pictures in, make sure your time and dates are right, all of that stuff. Okay, we're moving on from that. Okay, so now let's get into the content, okay? Now, when I say content, there's a couple main things that generally come up. One is things like blog posts. I know blog can sound like an old school term, but the reality is the blog on your website, or I don't care what you call it, where you put articles, where you put news, or where you put tips, whatever you want to call that, is one of the most powerful things you can have on your website. because it's a place you can consistently be feeding content into. So most people that I talk to think blog is just some old school term that ended 10 years ago because the term blogger kind of went away. Like, yeah, I'm a professional blogger. It's like, well, I don't care about that. What I care about is I have a place on my website that I can keep putting content in that's going to go after the key phrases that I want to win for. Okay. Number two is most people think about video. Video is insanely powerful, especially if you're posting on YouTube, because Google is the #1 search engine on the planet, but YouTube is the #2 search engine on the planet. So YouTube does more search than Bing and Yahoo and Dogpile and the 25,000 other search engines are trying to do something. And what's interesting about what we're seeing more and more as this moves forward is that Google is integrating video more and more into the search engine's results page. So when you have, let's see if we can get this to do its thing. Do something, maybe. It's not, you don't see it clicking on your site, right?
You have to sign up into it. Or no, I still.
I think I'm just connected to the HDMI, right? Okay, wait. Oh, yes. Amazing. Okay, look at this. So this guy spent however much time to make this video. Now, look at the real estate Google just gave him. It's insane. Like, it's half the page.
And that's organic.
And this is organic. This is not paid. So when you're talking about, and excuse my ignorance on esthetician products, I was actually, a buddy of mine's wife is an esthetician in Bozeman, Montana. I helped him with SEO for her site. So that's why I had the moment of like, I should go to her site and like, but I don't know all the products. My point is, what if somebody said, how to protect my skin during the winter, and you have half of the page of a video showing up pushing your products, pushing, you guys know what I mean, promote, talking about the right product. I'm not, this is, we don't want to get, right? So this, from a content strategy, is incredible. When I look at something like the Green Card Journal, can I take one of those real quick, please? I'm very geeked out on this stuff. So, this right here is an insane YouTube video. I just opened this up. The real cost of charging EVs. You know how many times I get access? I drive a Tesla, so I get access all the time. Okay? My wife was asking me this on the drive-in, and she's about to buy a Tesla. She's tired of paying gas prices like we all are, right? Like the big conversation. So this, not only like this type of thing, and we'll dive into this in a minute, becomes, I mean, what if you showed up for that here? Like, let's Google this. Let's dig. The real costs of charge. I mean, you could be the video.
Yeah.
That's hosted on your site too. Like that's the thing. The content you have, the content you make. I know I'm building a foundation here, so we're going to get some real geeky tech stuff here in a second. So I'm trying to get you all to like me first, so you'll get through this. But that article, this right here, becomes an amazing blog post accompanied by an amazing video. Then all of a sudden we have 2 or 3 pieces of content that can show up right here, right? You're welcome. Go do that. Okay, so yeah, I mean seriously, I mean that kind of thing. Now, okay, hold on.
So do you suggest like actually taking a video yourself, or
Totally. Or here's the beauty about video, right?
just creating video content.
Even if it's
Totally.
like short form video and then uploading to YouTube.
So yeah, right. So the beauty is most of us carry in our pocket your whole recording setup. You can upgrade as you go. This is, and we could get very deep into this, but a newer phone within the last 3 years, the video quality is going to be fine. You have to remember when YouTube delivers that video, they're going to downgrade it probably like 480. I mean, so people get all worked up about 4K and this, but they're downgrading that video so that the stream stays. Because when the stream glitches, some people click away, right? So if you look at YouTube when you're watching, generally speaking, unless you're on some massive bandwidth connection, if you go to the, you can click on the right-hand corner, it will tell you what quality it's streaming at, and it's always less than HD. And people don't really normally realize it because they're just looking for the content, right? Like, so when you make that content, so it can be your face. There's plenty of channels that you never see a person's face talking. There's no talking head. It's all slides and, like I watch a lot of stuff about, we love going to Montana, so like top 5 places to visit in White Springs, and it's just, I never see the person. It's the same voice, but they'll just have video clips or, Yelp reviews or whatever kind of popping up on the screen. So what I tell people is there's no perfect formula for a video. I have a bunch of friends that are full-time YouTubers, and it's funny looking at their analytics, like what they would consider their worst quality videos are generally the ones that are getting the most views and the most subscribers coming in. Because we just rate ourselves really harshly. So whatever you need to do to get the video content done is what you need to do, is what I tell people, right? If you're not comfortable on camera, you need to write it all out and just use iMovie and put slides in, or just go downtown San Luis and go like this outside and take the video you take of other things. Like, that's totally acceptable, right? As long as people want the content, right? I think most of what we're talking about in this room, we were talking, if we had making a living on YouTube, maybe you talk about some of the entertainment factor. If we're talking about growing a business, you're talking about good quality information. That's the core, right, of the information there. Yes.
So these videos, is it a link from your website that goes to the YouTube channel, or?
Okay, so here's what you do. Are you guys all okay if we go this way for a minute? Okay. We're getting into something else a little more. Okay, here's your website. Here's the video. On YouTube, there's a little button. If this is the YouTube video, there's a button down here that says share. Okay? You click that button and there's an embed code. All you do is copy that code on your website. Code, we're getting like real deep here. Code into your site. You just take that embed code and you put it here. And so then it will populate from YouTube. Okay. This is my internet. Okay. Golden. Okay. We have the power of technology here. So obviously baseball season. So right here, share, boom, embed, and you just copy this right here, and you paste it in. And like if you're on, there's like I believe I haven't worked on a Weebly site for years, but there was like a little thing you can choose for, like they either call it code or HTML, something like that. Hot tip right here, there's like a little thing that says iframe width and height. If it looks weird on your website, you can actually change those two numbers and it will adjust the size of your, this is all just code, right? Like telling it what to do. So you can just only mess with those two though. Let's just keep it at that. But then what happens is, then you get the video that looks like this on your website, okay? Your website doesn't have to do the heavy lifting of posting the video. Plus, they can watch it on YouTube, and from your website, then find your YouTube channel. As soon as they click that, it takes you over to YouTube. Now, there's an argument from your perspective of like, well, I don't want people to leave my site and go to YouTube. So, there's another local car guy that has a pretty good thing going. Some of my conversations with him have been, we'll grow the YouTube channel, because I know plenty of people that are making 5-6 figures. I mean, 5 figures a month. 6 figures a month on YouTube and through YouTube ads and revenue share and stuff like that. So there's a separate business model there, but that's how I would start it, because you don't want to deal with the embed on the site having to carry the heavy lifting, and then people will find your YouTube channel. And it's super easy, right? And it's like, boom, done it. Okay. So now we know what we're doing. Now let's go backwards a minute. How do we find out even what we make content about? That's really the heartbeat of what we want to talk about today. Because I normally have this conversation, and like people, what you guys all go leave today with is like, I have a strategy of how I'm going to find out what I'm going to write about, what I'm going to create videos about, what I'm going to do about. Actually, free tip so I don't forget it, create the video. Hey, here's my top 5 products so you look great all summer and don't get burned at the beach. Okay? Hide the dad bod. If you have that, let me know. Okay? So record the video, and then you can go to a site like Fiverr or Upwork. Is everybody familiar with that or no? Is that new? Okay, I heard a no, so we'll do this. I'm giving you like all the tools at the beginning. So I'm giving if I'm bring me back, you promise to bring me back in line if I start talking about stuff that you don't care about. I think I'm malicious. So Fiverr is a site for subcontractors, essentially, right? And they're from all over the world. So I've had friends that have used this site, and you can just do video, what do we call it? Transposing. Transcription. So it's like I couldn't, oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm not gonna log in right now, but you can see here for as little as $5, you can throw your video over to somebody and they'll transcribe it for you. So if you don't like writing, you don't think you're a great writer, then you can find a couple people on Fiverr or another site called Upwork if you want to use them, where you can record the videos, send the videos to these people, and for like, let's call it less than 25 bucks, easy, get a solid transcription, so you have the blog post written. You don't even have to write it, right? So, okay, thank you. That's very encouraging. Sometimes I look at you and it's like, you know, okay, we're good, okay. So yeah, so like stuff like that is how you can, like, I'm very passionate about the fact that one person can win at what they want to win at, right? Once again, 71 people versus 1, that's a hard thing, but if you find the right thing, you can totally do this, right? And it's by finding tools like this too, because a lot of people hate to write, they don't think they're good writers, and because they don't think they're good writers, they sit there at a computer and they write a thing, and they're like, I don't want to put this out in public, and blah, 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 blah. But with the video, the cool thing about video is you can edit out the stuff that sucks. You know? You can just record the video, edit it up to make it look and sound exactly how you want it to look and sound, send it over, get an article. I've actually worked with some companies that do this and then take a transcription and actually have a copywriter that makes it all nice and pretty. You know? And like they just have this workflow. They pay a transcription person 10 bucks, they pay a copywriter 20 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever, to go on it, make sure all the words, the sentences make sense, you know, add some fluff to it, boom, done, right? There's actually on Upwork. So Upwork, yeah, you guys are kind of getting the, you're getting the, see, this is what happens when we're in a small group, so I can really give you everything. Okay, here's how Fiverr works, okay? I have a transcription project. I search video transcription, I find something that looks good, I buy the thing, I give them the video, okay? Upwork, I post a job. So it's more of a database. So I post up, I need 20 videos transcribed and turned into blog articles. Then Upwork will give you a list of people that potentially could fill that job. But they also, you then have the opportunity to post that job to the global job board. Now you can tell Upwork, I want them to be US based, I don't care where they are in the world, I need them to be English primary language, I need them to be Spanish primary language, whatever your requirements are, you can post your job on Upwork and then people can apply to it. So with this, if you're like, I want to do this with 50 videos, okay? You could find something on here where you can essentially make them a deal for 50 videos. I just did this with a channel for an experiment on like a cartoon drawing thing. This dude made me 200 videos to start a YouTube channel with, and it cost me 500 bucks. Okay? What a great experiment. You know, like it's out there. Because one of the things we don't really recognize living in California, and I was just talking to Judy about this when she was in here, because in our world, like I have to pay for high-end IT engineers in my world, right? Like when I'm interviewing people in California, I cannot pay an IT engineer $72,000. Right? They laugh at me if I would offer them that. They would walk out of the interview at that moment, right? But if you're in Ohio or Indiana and you're making 72 grand, it's okay. Like you're doing all right. So one of the things that sometimes I've recognized working with California businesses is they think this stuff's going to be really expensive. But if you find somebody that's good and living in a part of the country that's not super expensive to live in, then you can get amazing work for a price that will blow your mind. And I've done this, I've used this so many times. Okay, anything you need. So I mean, we're not on this. I mean, you want a new website, you want a new, I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter. Everything, I mean, everything. Okay. Now let's get back to what we were talking about.
Quick question.
Yes.
Sorry. So when you look on Upwork for someone else, what is the videos that you search for?
I mean, you can search, well, so okay, if you want, like, for the transcription, I would just do video transcription.
Yeah.
There's people who do video editing. Like, you could record the video and send it to a person that's going to do the editing. You can send it to somebody that's going to, if the audio is really bad, you can send it to a separate person that's going to do the audio, or maybe that same person, and then you can send somebody to transcribe it, you know? And you can put everything in a Google Drive, and you can have all your videos ready for editing here. Like, it's in another Google Drive that when that person's done, they put it in the folder that's ready for transcription. Then your transcription person takes it, and it just all goes, you know? But that's the thing, like, I would encourage you to get into this video thing to learn how to edit your own videos. It's not say that's the piece that would save you the most money, you know, because video editing is definitely a specialized skill. It's not going to be super expensive, but if you can just do it yourself, it's faster, it's cheaper. I mean, most of the guys I work with that are big YouTubers that have guys on staff also know how to edit. So if their guys on vacation or they need to get a better video out or whatever, they have that skill set. At some point, your time will be not worth the money, so you'll pay somebody to do it anyway. But that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. So now we know we need content. We know how to get the content. All of us. Okay, last thing. Last.
Sure.
Last.
I believe you.
We can talk about anything. I mean, forget what we called this seminar. You know, we just all need to get in a room. You know, who's bringing lunch? Let's. If you're going to do a YouTube channel, if I just said something and it sparked, like, I'm telling you, there is money to be made on YouTube. They're the only creator platform that actually splits the revenue 50-50 with creators. It's why TikTok is going to fail. It's why the Facebook thing is failing. It's why Instagram Shorts, people are like, this is, or Instagram Reels. It's like all that stuff is going to fade away they're going to have to either revise it or it's going to fade away because they have a creator fund that's a set amount. As more people get into the fund, everybody makes less and less, and they make a fund to make everybody feel good about it. But at the end of the day, YouTube is still the only one that actually splits 50-50 with creators. So as they grow, the creators grow, and the other models, as TikTok grows, the creators shrink, and it's a not a good deal for creators. My point is, if you're going to do a YouTube channel, 40 video minimum. You cannot be frustrated at all. You have to commit to 40 videos right now. Okay. We're doing, is one of our things on, did we plan a YouTube one? I think we did. I think like in 2 more, we're doing a full YouTube one. I think so. So look for that. I love talking about YouTube. I love
Did you do a YouTube one a couple years ago?
I did a search, I did an ad one, a YouTube ad one. No. Oh yeah. I did. Oh, cool. Awesome. We come to the next one too. The next one will be great. But if you're on YouTube, 40 video minimum before you even look up. And the topics, that's what we're going to get to. How do you find topics? How do you find topics for SEO? So, okay. Search words. We have search phrases. Okay, we have long tail. Okay. Search word, guitar. What could somebody be searching for? Okay, we'll go even global. I get very excited. Half the population here plays guitar. Search word, car. Okay. What types of things could somebody be searching for? If we said, so we're sitting in a room, we're all planning, so we're like marketing gurus, right? And we're like, somebody comes up and says, we want to get found. The search word we want to go after is the word car. We have this awesome magazine. What can people be searching for with car? Electric cars.
Safe cars.
Safe cars.
Mom cars.
Mom cars. Best gas amount on my car. How to change the tire on my car. My car won't work. Who repairs cars? Do I need a car? Is a car worth it? My windshield's cracked in my car. My dog puked in my car. How do I clean the carpet in my car? Car cleaning. Right? My point in all this is when you do a search word, it's way too broad. So you have, this is, okay? When you try to get, when you narrow, when you come up with, I want to get found for a word, car, guitar, shoes, whatever. That's what we call a broad search word, right? Meaning you're not going, if you search car, like you're fighting now against Ford and GM and the content you're making might not even be relevant to the person searching for that, right? So if we have carpet cleaner for cars or car windshield cleaner, right? And I'm trying to do all this content to just get found for cars, I'm going to get a bunch of people that don't actually care about the thing that I'm selling. So then we have search phrases, okay? Let's pretend like we own a local car, a place that fixes cars. I'm going to give away the answer here, okay? What's like a two-word phrase we could do? Best mechanic. Good. Car repair. Cheap mechanic. Totally. You got this. You spend time on the internet. I get it. Okay. So that's better, right? Best mechanic, cheap mechanic, local mechanic, whatever. Still too broad for what we're going to try to get. Because we want to find phrases that we can win at, you have to, now some call it niche, some call it niche, don't get mad at me, I get it. The term the niches and the riches doesn't make sense when you call it niche. So we'll go with that. We'll go with the niches, we'll go with the niches, we want the riches, right? You have to niche down until it hurts. That's how you find phrases. Because it'll get to a point where you're like, this is getting too much. You know, like we're getting too niche-y here, right? But when you have that, and somebody finds that thing, then you know it's going to be relevant. Because what we have is we have this we have this scale, this is a horrible scale, of search volume versus relevancy, right? So when we do some searching here in a second, I show you the tools I use. If we put in the word car, you're going to see there's a huge amount of search volume, but very little relevancy to the thing that we're specifically talking about. When you go the other way with very, very high relevancy, the volume is going to fall off a cliff. But you have to be okay with that, because if you know what the exact people you want, right, then that's better than having a bunch of people come to your site and you look at your Google Analytics and they all stay for half a second. Right, I'm getting a bunch of hits, but who cares, right? They're not buying anything. So you can't look at, so one of the biggest misnomers is more traffic is better, right? With my buddies that are on YouTube, I always tell them, like, yeah, you're getting all this traffic, but does it matter if they're not subscribing and they don't care about the content? You're out there search, your average watch time is 10 seconds. So I actually look at a metric with them that is subscribers per 100 views. Because that, to me, that's more relevant. It's showing people think like, you have to actually download to do that, that's not actually something YouTube gives you. It's like download it, put it in your Excel spreadsheet, do a whole bunch of stuff. But my point is, like, to me, that's a more relevant thing. So like when you look at what we're going to be talking about here, relevancy is more important than search volume. Okay. So now a phrase. So now let's talk about long tail. Long tail is a search phrase that is at least 3 words long. So we have a car mechanic. So what would be a long tail, 3+ words that could be a phrase that we want to get? Okay. Oil change. Okay, we got what? Car oil changes. Car. What do you say? Car repair. Car repair. Car repair. And now let's take that car repairing, because that's what I was thinking about. I like where you're going with this. I'm going to take that a second. But now let's niche that down even further, right? Honda car repair, San Luis Obispo. Then we can go even further. Oil change for Hondas in San Luis Obispo, right? And we can get even further. Synthetic oil changes for Honda SI, Civic SI in San Luis Obispo. I'm trying to think which Honda uses synthetic. Right? You can now all of a sudden, if somebody searches and finds our page, synthetic oil change for Honda Civic SI in San Luis Obispo, we know a couple things. One, they have a Civic SI. Two, they need an oil change. And three, they're in San Luis Obispo. And they just found the perfect page. That's a customer. Right? So the longer we can get with those search phrases, the more relevancy we're going to have. And with relevancy comes the opportunity to actually win on this page without having to beat CNBC or the Huffington Post or Yahoo or Dick's Sporting Goods or whoever, right? That relevancy is the thing that Google is trying to look at. Like, whoa, that person just searched for, or say you had a YouTube, and maybe you had a. Just flip to the next article. The content here is good. Let's see. The second best TV on Earth right now. Am I saying Mach-E?
Definitely impressive.
No, it's the reason I own Ford stock and not Tesla stock is the Mach-E. We could look at something like this and say, like, what are the true maintenance costs of a Ford Mustang Mach-E? 2022 Ford Mustang Mach-E. Super specific, super relevant. If somebody's searching that, if you're the only site, or you're one of only a couple sites that has that title, you're actually gonna win, like at some point. And that's why this is so much more important than the course we used to here, which is like, here's all the technical pieces of SEO. Make sure you have alt tags, make sure you have H1 tags, and blah, blah, blah. Because we can go through all that technical stuff. You guys can learn all that technical stuff, at some point. But if the content is not relevant, you can use all the technical stuff in the world and fill out every technical thing in the world, and you still won't show up because it's not relevant enough.
Did you say that needs to be a title or just in the content? Sorry.
You're just leading me right into my next point.
That's not right.
There will be a test on this. LSI, latent semantic indexing. Google actually just changed the name of how they do this, but this is a global term that they use across. Latent semantic indexing. Okay, latent behind the scenes, semantic, the words that are being used, indexing how things show up in an index. So what happens is we have our phrase, and in 10 minutes we're going to start getting into how you find that phrase. The article you write, Google, the algorithm itself is not looking just at the title. The title is one of the most important things of the article, whether we're talking about an article, a video, whatever, for sure, hands down. If you were just said like the electric car, it's like, who cares? And the whole article talks about the Mustang Mach-E and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, that needs to be the title, right? The internet, you guys, the currency of the internet is clicks, period. Okay? This is what's tough. There's a great video, actually. I knew we were going to go here, I would have found it. There's this great video on YouTube, trust me. And it was this balance of clickbait titles versus reality titles and how to find a middle where you don't feel you're clickbaiting people, but you're bringing enough interest and intrigue to where people actually click stuff. Because once again, we're fighting against the people making the content we want to show up for, but we're also fighting against this cream made me look 20 years younger. 5 steps to look 15 years younger. I mean, it's like these claim videos and stuff. And when you look at all of it, honestly, Google makes money from advertisers because people click. Google makes money on YouTube because people click. Like, forget Bitcoin. The clicks are where all the money's at, especially in the world of the internet. So the title is super important, all that to say. Latent semantic indexing is the model by which Google uses, that it actually looks through your article to make sure the language in your article all kind of makes sense. So for example, if we were writing an article on the top, say we went over to Mountaineer Sports and Josh over there was like, you guys are brilliant, I need you to write me some articles, give me some business, And we said the top 5 hiking boots for this summer, okay? Well, Google's gonna look through your article and make sure that there's words in there that are relevant to hiking boots. Camping, mountains, trips, whatever the words are, it cross-references those words across other sites on the internet too, to make sure the content you're writing all makes sense. And they also look for how the language is used. So you can't just have sentences that are like, hiking boots are great, I wish I had more hiking boots, because you're trying to show up for hiking boots. If your whole paragraph is 50 words and 40 of those words are hiking boots, Google's gonna be like, that's not real language. So it's looking for, once again, it wants to be a referral partner, making sure they're being delivered good content. Well, that good content generally contains other words. So there's a tool called SEMrush that if you get really serious about this is gonna be worth it. There we go. Okay. It's like $120 a month, but you can put in a search phrase and it will search the top 10 sites on Google and actually deliver to you a PDF that says, to get found for this word, here are the other words that need to be in your article. So this is going so many different directions. But you like it, you love it, I can see it in your eyes. So watch this, work with me here. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for life to be changed? You're gonna go home tonight cooking dinner, and I cannot believe where my life is right now. Okay. You get SEMrush. Get serious. I think you're serious. There's a free trial, so you can get the free trial, okay, and just check it out. Okay. You go in, you do search phrases. You get this PDF, and the PDF tells you what your search phrase is. It tells you how many words your article needs to be, like the average word count of the top 10 articles. So some stuff will tell you 300 words. It can be a really short article. Some stuff it will tell you 1,200 words, right? Like just to get there, because it's analyzing the top 10 results. Okay, so it'll tell you how many words the article needs to be, and then it tells you what words have to be in your article that all the other articles are sharing. And you take that and you give it to your Upwork person and you say, write me an article with all of this. That is, if you have more money than time, is the easiest way to get articles done. Then you take that article and read it into a microphone and get some pictures and make a video and go the other direction, right? All based on, like, I don't use the word scientific, but all based on thoughtful analysis of who's ranking top 10 right now. That is insane if you think about it. It eliminates so much work. Okay. So now we know we need not just a word and not just a phrase, we want a long tail search phrase. Now people get nervous about that because they go, oh my gosh, I'm doing a thing and all I can be found for is synthetic oil changes in Honda SIs in San Luis Obispo. But here's the beauty. Your website doesn't charge you anything more to add another article. Right? So that you have to eliminate that feeling of like you're putting yourself in a box or a cage because you're so niched down. Because yeah, breaking it down, well, now I just make another article. Because I also want to get down for Honda Accords. Cool. No problem. We got that. We just do another article. We do another video. We do another whatever, right? So you guys all have, it sounds like, I heard WordPress, I heard other things. Like when you have control of your website, you can just, and you have YouTube that doesn't charge you anything to upload a video. That pressure should just be like, I write 3 articles on, I do 3, You know, I do 3 searches a month on, or a week on SEMrush. I found somebody that'll write articles. I'm telling you, good articles. I've seen it. I've helped companies find these people. Good articles for $30 an article. Okay. So if you can get yourself a budget of a couple $100, you can have a serious content strategy going without, even if it's just an article a week. I mean, to think that you could get a copywriter to do that. But once again, they live in areas where like the dream home's $150,000. When I was in Indiana, since we're friends, I'll tell you about this. Happy wife, happy life, right? So I find this, my wife finds this house. I'm doing some consulting in Indiana. My wife finds this house on Zillow and sends it to me. I go to it, it's awesome. I'm like, this is the dream home. I call the real estate agent, like, can I just write you a check? Because it's just so cheap in my mind. I'm like, can we just buy this? And they're like, it doesn't really work like that. I'm like, oh, right. Like, I'm so used to like, hopefully I can get rid of this jumbo and like do all this stuff. But over there, you're just like, listen, like, he actually said to me, well, I need to show it to you first. I'm like, no, I'm here. It's good. We're good. You know? So that, I won't go along that. So let's dig into how do you find these search terms? How do you find the things that actually matter without you guessing at what matters? So that's another piece, right? So you come up with all these search phrases. So here's when we're done here, the goal here is for you to brainstorm. You use the tools you're about to get. All the tools I'm going to show you are either free or cheap, okay? And you might have a list, and yeah, at some point, search volume is going to matter. Like, I don't want to make it sound like, okay, there's 1 search a month, you should do an article on that. You shouldn't, right? But if the search volume, depending on what you're doing, is low, 700, I mean, that could be fine. Especially if you're talking about local stuff, whatever, and if it's high value stuff, that's fine too. But I also just want to say, when you have your list, you're going to start a spreadsheet and have a list of awesome search words and how much content or how many searches they're getting and all that stuff. I mean, you definitely at that point, if they've gone through your filter, you do want to look at search volume. I mean, I don't mean to throw that baby out with the bathwater, but here we go. Number 1, Google Trends. Anybody use Google Trends? Oh, okay, 1. We have 1. Okay, this is amazing. Google Trends essentially will show you how much interest there is in any given topic. So, oh, I can spell right. Hold on. Cars. Okay. Now look at this. Average. I mean, it's a little tough to see. So there's a little 0 to 100 scale over here. If you look at it, and you can see. Okay. So what happened right here?
Yes, or
Yeah, $7 a gallon, right? I mean, you can see all of a sudden. And now, how this graph works in Google Trends is this is the interest of the topic in relationship to itself, right? So this isn't saying like, oh, now there's 3 million searches. It's saying in relationship to how many searches there normally are, it is now exponentially higher. So when you look at this chart, this looks like it could be low, but the reality is the baselines for electric cars might be, that search might be 10 million a month, and now it's 100 million a month, right? So this chart can be a little deceiving. Make sure you're looking at it from the eyes of, this is the average. So we'll pull up another phrase that would have less search volume, and that line might be up here. Because related to itself, it has more search right? So here's the cool thing. You scroll down in Google Trends. Okay, and it will actually show you areas that are searching for it, the hot areas. But then we also have down here related topics, as well as related queries. So we talk about search engine result page. The term query is when you type something into Google, what you type in there, they call a query. Okay, so we can see here, like if I'm looking for just electric cars, I'm trying to brainstorm, like obviously everybody's talking about the test one. So let's get something where it's like, maybe I can get some traction on some other topics that maybe not everybody's writing about. Well, all of a sudden I put in electric cars and I got the Hyundai, they call it the Ioniq, right? Ioniq? The Ioniq 5, compact SUVs, Ford F-150, the electric one, Mach-E. It tells you like, oh, the Mach-E as a topic is starting to trend up, right? So you can type in anything you want up here and it will tell you related topics that are also getting some juice. So now your spreadsheet, you're like, oh man, that's awesome. And then you have some other related queries here. So once again, topics are topics that are moving. Queries are actually what people are putting into Google to search, right? This is the query. So Kia EV6, Toyota BZ4X, Ford Lightning, Ford F-150 Lightning, right? And you can see it actually says right here, breakout, which means it's just starting to like get some juice, like things are happening for it right now. And the next is, this says this is up 4,650%. So it tells you kind of what's happening with that phrase, okay? So this, you could spend all day on this. The other thing you can do here, let's see if I can scroll up here. Did anybody jump on the Zoom? Okay, I'm gonna dislodge this if not. You can hit compare. Okay, so let's do electric cars versus so now it'll compare whatever terms you put up here with each other. And you can keep adding terms. So if you're trying to figure out what terms right now are people searching for, here's the 10 things I can write about. What has the most, you know, what's kind of breaking out, what's doing its thing. You can, now remember, this is all in relationship to itself. So you can see the lines themselves actually follow the same pattern, but the electric car spike is significantly higher. Meaning in relationship to itself, I mean, that's like, it's like the breakout is like 200% more than what the hybrid is, right? And then if you did like, what was the alternative fuel there? Sorry, I'm looking like,
What do you want?
not nitrogen, they use another fuel in
Hydrogen.
hydrogen, thank you.
You can also do plug-in hybrid, that's more.
Oh, I like that, okay. No, that's probably even more, that's more better. So yeah, thank you for that. Plug-in hybrid is a great idea. So look, so here's the like once again related to itself. This isn't necessarily, this is not search volume, but you can see the interest in plug-in hybrid. The spike in that is minimal. So if we took this gap and if we're sitting in your idea chamber, like what articles could we write? What could we do? And somebody comes up with plug-in hybrid, and somebody comes up with hybrid, and somebody comes up with electric cars. It's like, well, based on this, we need to put our first effort into articles about electric cars. Now, once again, electric cars is too much in the word section, so we're going to bring it down to a long tail title, but there could be 100 articles with that word electric car. I mean, the easy ones are the best electric car. The best electric car under $50,000. Can I buy an electric car for $30,000? The best used electric car. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. But we look at plug-in hybrid and be like, well, the interest just isn't spiking. But there's probably not, is it even worth our effort to try to go after this? Is this like a fading thing right now? You know? So this is one of those things that's really interesting where South Dakota, interesting. Everybody in California already knows, I guess.
Can you make that into the United States? Can you make that more regionally in the United States?
You can, yeah. So you can actually do different countries worldwide, and I actually believe you can do statewide. Yep, US and California.
Oh, cool.
And then it will actually show you the like region. But then here you can actually do time frames too. Past hour, past 4 hours. I mean, when you all have a team of people doing this for you, and it's like, I need the article that is hot this hour. There you go, right? Past 5 years. I mean, this would be interesting on this. You know. So yeah, and then thank you for bringing this up. Also, we can do web search or YouTube search. Okay. So once again, depending on what you feel like your best workflow is. Am I a better writer where I'm going to turn it into videos, or am I a better video creator and I'm going to turn it into an article? You might choose differently what you decide to do here. So, and if you have a product, you can actually do Google Shopping, right? So since you're sitting right here, give me a name of like one of the.
You just search eyebrow products.
Sure. Eyebrow, it's any sort of product. Eyebrow pencil, gel, like that. Oh, okay. All right. So let's get underneath 5 minutes. What is it? You sure?
Yeah.
I can type another word.
No, eyebrow gel's good.
Okay.
I think that it's starting to trend.
Okay.
So.
Oh, well, sorry, I'm also in California, so let me second catch myself here. Maybe. We'll give it a second to think here. It's okay, internet. So once again, and what you'll see is there's a lot of products that spike November, December, that's the holidays. You'll see a lot of products that spike January because people get now, what's happening with a lot of consumer products is there's a spike in January because a lot of people are not getting gift cards for Christmas and holidays, and then everybody has money in January and then is spending it. So there's a trend, in my opinion, there's this interesting trend starting to happen where it's like, yeah, I mean, people are still buying gifts and stuff, but as the gift card thing gets bigger and bigger, and then you start doing this January. It was one of the most crazy things when I had the paintball thing. It was like December was not that great, and I was getting worried about taxes. And then January like exploded, and I realized because the parents aren't buying they don't know what to buy the kids. Like if they want a paintball gun, it's like it's $100, you know, like whatever.
The spikes could probably tell you, like, if you were going to forecast when you wanted to do, like, pay for advertisement.
Yes.
That's when you
Well, maybe. So that would be something worth looking at. So if other companies are doing that, they could also mean it's the most expensive time to pay for advertising. Right? But it means one or the other. So it's either we do ads all here, and then we wait here because we don't want to overspend because there's still enough interest, right? But yeah, I mean, so this is interesting. So there was, I mean, who knows what happened here? You probably know, but October, what was that, like January, you know, whatever, big spike here, really big in Arizona, and then we kind of like come down. Oh, you see it move just a little bit like it wants to, and it's, we'll see if we get down there. And then you'll get a whole bunch of different suggested results, right? Of like, so now then you got, and sometimes, so here's what's interesting. I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about this right now, right? This is where it becomes obvious, unless you tell me differently, with my very limited knowledge of eyebrow jokes, I did not even know that's a thing until right this second, okay? Is that you start looking at the related topics, right? Like you have Buddhism, you know what that word is, Buddhism, something, spoon. It's like, maybe I need to dial this in a little bit more, right? Like what Google thinks this is not what I think it is, right? Now queries is interesting here. Totally, right. Tanya speaks eyebrow review, spoon ring Shark Tank, so like whatever that was, trying to figure out what that is, you know. I'm guessing whatever this is, that spike is can happen with things like Shark Tank episodes. I have good family friends that were on Shark Tank, and you see it. Like every time the episode replays, it's just like, you know, crazy. So that is Google Trends. Spend some time with it, love it, own it. It's fantastic. Okay. The next thing I want to get into now that we have trends is a little thing I like to call Google. Okay. It was Tanya, what was it, Tanya?
IA speaks.
Oh, no, there we go. What's that? Exactly.
Oh, it's a skincare company.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get, so what happens, so the other thing Google gives us, so search engine results page. So we have all these ideas now, right? So now we're going to start Googling those ideas, okay? Now, why does that matter? Because at the bottom of Google, they also give you related searches. There's two things on the Google page that you have got to own, okay? One is the related searches, okay? Because Google is essentially telling you, by the way, the thing your people are searching for, they're searching for this also. You know, it's like you in a car dealership, it's like they tell you the guy wants a blue Mustang. You should probably go sell him a blue Mustang, you know? The other really intriguing thing is the autofill. Okay, I'm gonna get off the Tanya Speaks thing because I want it to be a little, let's do eyebrow gel. So these are, now this is probably this is a little shorter than I want it to be, but we'll get the picture. It is auto-filling right here with things that the majority of people are searching for. It doesn't do this because it thinks you're a one-off person out of nowhere. It does this because this is what people are generally searching for and they're trying to make it easier on them. So when you start citing eyebrow gel, here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 most popular things people are typing after that word. Okay. So let's just start typing intent and see if anything else comes up. Here we go. Okay. So now we've added another word and it gives us the next 8 things, the next 8 words people are searching for after that word. I mean, think about this for a second. This is free. They're not even charging you for this. You could be sitting at the doctor's office looking this stuff up while you're waiting for your doctor to come in and have 100 topic ideas just here, right? We were talking about electric cars earlier. Let's jump that in here real quick.
Autofill words and related search are those keywords that we should be putting in our SEO.
Yes, this is what people are searching for.
And that is in the articles that we're posting. Those
Right, you're, exactly. Now, once again, if you're not going to use something like SEMrush, you have to, what I would do, I mean, you get used to it after a while, but you do, like, okay, so if we're going to do something like we did the boots analogy, but if you did something like, I'm just guessing here, like the eyebrow gel, it's probably going to want words like makeup and lipstick and foundation, like other things, like it goes right with whatever. They're going to want other associated words in that article, which are probably going to naturally, honestly, a lot of those words, if you do the SEM, which I do recommend, do the 7-day trial or 14-day whatever it is with SEMrush, and do it, it's pretty obvious. A lot of the words that come up, you're like, well, of course, this is like the conversation I would have with people if I was telling them about this, right? It's not like words where you're like, where did that come from? Because it's general language, you know? Buying a house, you know? It's not like people are going to be talking about caves out in the Netherlands. It's like, no, the kitchen, the floor, the remodel, the this. I mean, it's like, it's not rocket science, you know? It's like, you go, oh, right, of course. It's good to have those words there. And if you're going to have somebody else write it for you, you want them to make sure it's there. Yeah.
So how many words, I'm assuming some are for title, some are for content.
Sure.
How long can your title be to include all this?
Depends on what we're talking about. So there's not a real answer for this. If it's on, you put me on the spot for the number here. Google, so for an article on your website, it's 52 characters, I think. 52, 54. It's the number of characters that'll show up right here without doing a ... Right? You don't want the title to be like so far that it gets cut off. On YouTube, it's 100 characters is the length. Most people recommend doing less than that because at 100 they do get cut off on mobile search. So you have to look at wherever this article is going, and then just Google, maximum character length for, just blog article, for a title in a blog article. If you use WordPress, there's a plugin called Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T, that will actually, once you put it in there, it actually tells you like, hey, you're using too many, you're not using enough, all that stuff.
I just have it all-in-one SEO.
Exactly, same thing, yeah.
I'm still trying to.
Yeah, no, so like even all-in-one SEO, it'll do the same thing. Like, hey, you need 10 more characters, hey, you need 10 less characters, whatever the case might be. But you have to also remember, this is the balance of all of this, is like clicks are the currency of the internet, right? So if the title is good at 30 characters, you don't want to just add characters for the sake of it if it's going to make people not click. Because who cares how good the title is if nobody's going to click? I mean, it's an art. It's the art and the science of all of this, right? So here we go. Electric cars, if we typed in for, so this is interesting. I was listening for sale, but look at the number 2 thing that's popping up.
For kids?
It's for parents, like what are the safest electric cars for kids? Like what car should I buy? Or what electric car should I buy if I have kids? I mean, I would not even thought of that. Yeah, I do that. I'm in the Costco, it's okay. I'm in the Costco parking lot. I tried to calm down, I couldn't. Okay? We're looking at a Model Y for my wife, okay? And they have the 5 and the 7 seat option. And there's a Model Y right there, and the lady's loading up all her groceries. So rudely, well, she has like a 100-pound bag thing of dog food. I'm like, hey, let me ask you a question about your Model Y. But it's all cool because I'm in my Tesla, so like they all know we're all part of the family. I normally don't tell people I drive a Tesla, but it's relevant for this story. I don't know if you guys drive an electric car. I don't need that kind of thing. And I'm like, is that a 7-seater? Because I want to see it to see what the seats look like for my kids. That was my only question. Because we keep looking at it like the 7-seater, but sometimes you have a 7-seater and the seats aren't even they're not even seats, And the lady told me, she said, well, we looked at it and the seats in the back were so small, we just went with the 5-seater. So this actually, like now, this was just a week and a half ago, I'm like, this is a great article. The best electric cars for families with kids. What's the best, soccer mom, soccer dad electric car? Like that's going to become a very real conversation here in the next couple months, probably, right? For toddlers, that's okay. So I'm getting excited now. Okay, so for kids with remote, what is the best family electric car? I'd like to see the article next issue.
You can see it online.
Okay, perfect. So now I'm using what Google is giving us, right? Google is literally giving us kind of the keys to the kingdom. Like it's saying, hey, for no cost, for you just coming here using Google, I'm going to give you Google Trends. As a matter of fact, there's another tool Google has. If you just sign up for a Google ad account, you can use their keyword finder. Okay. Let's see if we can get there fast enough. Planner. Here we go. So I said finder, I think. Let's see if it'll take us to the right page here. So here's the Google Ads. Okay, so this is Google Keyword Planner. Okay, so just do what I did. Google Keyword Planner. It will take you there. You'll have to sign up for a Google ad account, which is free. It might want you to like make an ad. You might have to put in a credit card, and then you just disable it, so you don't spend anything. And then, in a world where you can have 2 boxes, discover new keywords, or get search volume and forecast. You guys would pay for this. If somebody came up and was like, for $100, I'll get you a bunch of keyword ideas. You're like, great. Instead, you get it for free. Now you charge other people. Okay? So let's do the first one. Discover new keywords. Let's do something else. What else should we do? Yeah, give me one.
You're architecture consulting, right?
Yeah, I don't know, see, what did I even think of? I don't even know where to start for me.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. I'm just gonna type in real estate. Okay. And let's just see, because that's pretty short and very broad, right? And I want to make this point too. Say you already have a website that's out there, so your product site specifically, you can actually put the URL right here, and it will scrub the website for the keywords, and then give you new keyword ideas. Your site too, right? We'll put yours in. We'll put your site address, and we'll. So here we go. We just typed in real estate, right? So it's going to come up once again. These are like the keywords that it's associating with that. We have technically 4 minutes in this. Are you guys good with hanging out longer? It's up to you guys. You can leave. I get it.
I can't add to myself.
Okay. I'll go real fast then. So this time has flown by. It's been great with you guys. But so the keyword planner is going to give you keyword ideas free of charge, right? And boom, you just take this and then look at this up here. It's going to give you other words that you can broaden your search. Here's other things people are searching for. You can refine it over here. You can do all sorts of stuff with these keywords and live in this for totally free. Totally free.
Do they do that so then you'll buy ads from them?
Okay. But the other cool thing is then here it actually gives you the average monthly search volume as well as the trend, over time. So you can find some of these longer tail keywords and go, okay, great. Now here's the interesting thing. It does give you the bids. So when we talk about ads a little bit, it gives you the bids if you did want to run an ad, what your kind of low and high bid would be on that ad. So there's a lot of information here that you can use to kind of understand how competitive the market is. The higher the bid, obviously, the more competitive the market, right? If there's more people in wanting to get the keyword, the bid is going to be higher. So something like, what is this one right here? Land for sale near me, it has a lower bid than something like realtor, right? So that's, it's unbelievable what you can get out of this. And then right here, you can just download these into a spreadsheet.
Oh, wow.
Then you can do all your Excel magic and just do this all day long, and now you're coming up with ideas that you can create this content around. And now you don't feel like, I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out there, hoping it works, right? Let's go back. Give me the website again. Green Card Journal.
Green Card Journal. Stab trap.
No, that's okay. Yeah, we're not worried about the traffic. That's why you're here. GreenCardJournal.com. And we'll do. It's all the stuff we've seen kind of around. You start seeing the same stuff over and over again because people are searching for the same thing, but then there you go, right? It's like green vehicles, low emission vehicles, alternative vehicles. We haven't seen alternative vehicles yet. That's interesting. This is the kind of stuff where you go, man, this is the kind of stuff that was almost impossible to get back in the day. And now it's just free out there, sitting there. So then I'm going to show you one paid tool real fast. Now this is like the poor man's version of SEMrush. Okay, so it's like, I don't want to spend 120 a month, but I want to get something. This is called SE ranking. The cool part about SE ranking, and I actually set up a buddy's site in here too, so I can kind of show you how this works in real life, is that you can use this tool to actually get some of those key phrases you're after and actually track how they're doing. So it actually tells you where you're showing in the results. It can do a report like every Friday where it sends you, hey, here's how this is doing, here's how that is doing. And it has a keyword finder here as well, right? So here, right here, and then we'll analyze that. Okay, and then you're going to get a lot of the you're going to see a lot of same stuff once things they're pulling from similar things, but this is a really easy way to see it. Now, one of the things that I know you're asking, I'm going to answer your question before you answer it. What about the guy down the street that's also trying to rank for electric cars? You know, what are we doing about that guy? What's he doing? Glad you asked. So let's see. Where did I go? Competitive research. Oh my gosh. This is a shoe taker off kind of thing. Okay. You want a good time? Okay, let's see. Who has like a competitor they want to talk about right now? Zillow. We can do this. There's something smaller. We can do that.
I did Zillow, more Bay.
Okay, well, so let's do this. Here, I'll just show you. I'll show you what I mean. Let's do it. We just pulled up Zillow.com. So domain trust is how trustworthy the domain is seen on the internet out of 100. So 91 is like yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's up there. They get about 134.6 million organic views a month. Okay. They have 8.9 zeros would that be? Like 000, because that's not million, that's thousands. So 89, yes, 890,000 or something keywords that they're ranking for. If you wanted to try to acquire all of that traffic by paying for it, it's 49.3 with a bunch of zeros after it. Okay. But which is why sometimes the smaller ones is like, oh, that makes a little more sense, which we can do in a second here. But here's the thing. Here's the really, now this is March 2022, by the way. So if we can scroll down just a little bit. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. So you can see kind of the organic keywords there, but also it's showing you, remember those search engine results pages? It's showing you where these guys are showing up in the search engine results pages, right? Images, you know, when you search for the arrows, you can like click and it says, how do I mow my lawn? And like, they're like things that just pop up, right? As a matter of fact, now in videos, some of the videos, they'll actually scroll to the actual time point in the video of how to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So which is why on YouTube now you can, on your video, you can do the chapter indexing. If you don't know how to do that, you can Google how to chapter index a YouTube video. Your actual chapter can get indexed on the Google search engine result page, where it will take them to 2 minutes and 31 seconds in your video, because that's exactly where you talk about that. I mean, it's incredible, right? People also ask Twitter, so all this stuff, right? It's giving you all this information about Zillow, and then move a little bit more. Here's other competitors for you to look at. So once again, if you're on a smaller scale, you're a real estate agent, local unit, local realtors, whatever. But then also, and it just might not be moving fast enough, but there's a section where I can actually look at every ad, every Google ad that they have delivered. I can see exactly what the ad says, and it will show me when it was delivered, because as soon as it becomes delivered, it's like public domain out on the internet. Okay? So you can see, like, oh, cool, in December, they're running ads that say this. Little fun bonus, if you Google Facebook ad library, you can actually see all the ads anybody's running on Facebook. Those are all publicly viewable as well. So if you're trying to get creative ideas for what you can run on Facebook, you can just go look at your main competitors and see what they've already spent the money figuring out what to do. You just borrow it. Because the internet's clicks and borrows, clicks and borrows. So if we use this, and then let me go back to this real fast just to show you. Here's a buddy of mine that I put in here for us. And you can see So we have multiple keywords inside. So basically we set up this project. He's a house painter. And so what he went, so he's looking for the local search. He only does San Luis Obispo, right? So he's really focused on getting into that recap that we talked about. And so I have this set up, these keywords, right? And how much search volume is happening and where is he ranking, including the recap. So the cool thing about this software is that that little dot right there is the same one that Google uses. He knows for this keyword, he's ranking number 2 in the recap, right? And then he can track that. You see week stuff. So you go actually ranking number 3 here, ranking number 1 right? The moment that the software did the analysis, right? So sometimes you take a look at like when all of a sudden you rank 70 less, it's like, wait, let's rerun that, make sure we're not losing our mind here. Like something like this, right? When it ran this, apparently this keyword, went down 33 spots. That can be a moment. So you can rerun it, and so don't get nervous, right? But this is what's cool about a piece of software like this, why it's worth paying for something like this, is you can do all this work, and then every article you write, you can add to your project and be tracking it. And like the ones that start doing really, really well, maybe there's some shoot-off articles from that you want to write. The ones that aren't doing well, you can assess it. Is this really worth it? If this is a key piece of my business, maybe I need to find another search phrase that I'm using instead of this one, right? So by tracking it, now what we've done before, what we use, the trends for and the Google Keyword Planner and Google for is finding the keywords. Now we're proving they're working. The proving they're working part really does require some sort of paid software. This one, okay, there's a site called appsumo.com, appsumo.com. Every once in a while, these guys, SE Ranking, puts out a lifetime membership for like $100. So if you see that, grab it, because it's like the best deal ever on something like this. There's other pieces of software that do this. AppSumo is a place that they sell like software for a discount normally for lifetime licenses. And so I see it in your eyes. Well, let's just go there. Let's just go there. Let's do it. I mean, we're here. We have the internet. We have a computer. So basically what happens is they basically focus on small businesses and entrepreneurs, like software for small business entrepreneurs. And so then you would go here and you can see lifetime deal, lifetime deal, lifetime deal, lifetime deal, lifetime deal. And you can search for the type of software you're looking for. For like business development, I just got like a lead scraper thing for like $150 that I can like search San Luis Obispo for dentists, and then like will give me all the dentists and all their email addresses and all the things.
So how do you know one's a good program?
How many tacos it gets?
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding about that. So, Zen Writers, and they have a great community here. Like these guys have like done the right thing. So these are tacos, not stars, right here. So you'll see in the reviews, this is a fine taco app, So yeah, so you just. So trying to understand your user search intent. I mean, we might have just landed on something that could be useful that I've. Wait a second. Hold on a second. I wonder if this is like a cheap SEM rush, like from like first paragraph I'm reading here. Get down a little bit. Get down. Anyway, this site. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh yeah, alternative. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So for $69 for life, you should go look at this and see if that's going to work. And they have an amazing refund policy. Like literally, it's like 30 days. If you email them like I don't like it, you have your money back in like an hour. I mean, it's crazy, So this was so apropos. I'm so glad you suggested we go to this site. That was money right there. So that software alone might be your answer. $69 one time. You don't have a tool to find, to help you with writing the articles and getting it done. I can't guarantee that. It just seems like that's what that is just by looking at it for 10 seconds. But okay, I'm way over, but I want to ask 2 questions. One, is there any initial QA, like any questions we need answered right now? Okay. 2, did everybody feel like they got something today? Is everybody going home with something where you feel like you're more equipped now than you were? Was it worth your hour and a half? I guess is what I'm asking. Okay.
I just got one question.
Yes.
If we're writing things and we're putting it on our blog.
Yep.
Are they looking at only like the blogs or what the content on regular pages as well? Or
Regular pages as well.
and what's the difference or better with landing page?
Search terms. Whoever, landing page is just another page. It's like a blog page. It's not Google doesn't go, oh, it's a blog page. It's another page on your site. That's just a way for the general public to be able to organize it in their head.
But it still works with SEO.
Yep, as long as it's indexed.
Okay.
So, okay, crash course, 30 seconds. Okay? Time me. You ready?
Okay.
Give me 45 seconds. Okay. Title, H1, H2, H3. This is the order that Google, when you put something in the title, Google sees that as the most important. There should always be an H1, which is called a header 1, in your article, right? Any website management software you use is going to have that. Only one in your article. That is the most important. That's like a second title almost, right? H2 are your subtitles. Best electric cars. H1. You know, H2. The Tesla Model Y for your family. The next H2 would be the Ford Mach-E, right? Like, so all of those get H2, like they're sub blocks, right? So those become the most important things as far as when Google scrubs your page and crawls it, it's seeing you're putting the most juice behind this. This is the technical part of SEO. I promise I wouldn't get into, right? When you bold something, right? It sees it as a little bit more importance than the stuff you're not bold.
It's like if you're just visually reading it, like what's.
Right, if you go through articles on wherever, you'll see they do that. And one, it's to catch your eye. Most people scan articles now, they don't read articles. But also, what Google sees is not the article, it sees the source. This is what Google is scanning, right? It's not looking at all the pretty stuff you have on the page. This is what it's crawling. So when you say H1 and put something in there, it's going to say H1 and the thing in here, the Google bot is like, whoa, this is important.
So is H1 your actual title or title?
Title is your actual title. H1 is like your most important statement with your key phrase in it.
So you have to make it so it fits in your format for the title, only so many words. And
Yeah. So that is the 45-second crash course. I'll make sure you have these. There's a lot more to talk about with technical SEO. We got to have the content first before the technical matters. But that's your, does that answer your question?
No, it does. And that's a good clarifying for me because I didn't know the relevance and I see it all the time. And is there any importance of any of the words in the slug?
In the slug for like pictures or in the slug, oh, in the slug, oh yeah. So when he says slug, the slug is like, buycars.com, whack. Of course, anything where the word can show up, Google can crawl it. SEO, technical SEO, is the culmination of 1,000 different factors. I mean, and I say that tongue in cheeky, but also for real. I mean, it's fine. It probably is 1,000. So anywhere you can get that keyword. So don't let yourself, if you're using WordPress, it defaults generally to like a number. You start a blog and it's like buycars.com/32. It's like, what a waste, right? So you just make sure instead of the slug being 32, it says, the best electric family car, right? I mean, everywhere you can put it, there's relevancy. How much? I mean, does it add 1% or 20%? But if every little thing adds 1%, it all adds up. Totally. Any other questions I can answer? This was super fun. I think.
Yeah.
My heart says it was super fun. So as long as we learned something, I hope to see you back. We have, like you said, we have 2, I think actually 3 more things on the schedule. And So I hope to see all you guys at all of those. And if you want to grab a cup of coffee or something, I'm happy to do that too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Steve for all of the valuable information shared today. Just a quick slide of our upcoming events at the Cal Poly CIE SBDC. We have a QuickBooks tax planning workshop coming up at the end of March. We will be covering tax reporting as well as 1099s. It is run by our very own Damon Watkins. You can register for that on our website for $20. And our big event of the year is coming up, AngelCon 2022. The event will be live April 21st, 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Slow Brew Rock. In-person attendance is $75, but it's an excellent opportunity for networking and being able to meet the exciting and innovative startups that we have participating in this year's session. Thank you so much to everyone who attended today, and we hope to see you again soon.